This is a podcast all about Bears. You either cheering for this team or just pulling your hair. I like to take a minute, just sit right back and tell you how I became the #1 Bears fan.
That boy is Benny Hunter.
Cake on the mic, cake on the mic, cake on the mic, cake on the mic. People, this the intro. Sacramento, California, born and raised. And Antelope is where I spend most of my days. Talk bad about my team, you must be a clown. This is Keek on the mic, so you know you better bear down. Bear down.
Hey, what's going on, Bears fans? Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Keek on the Mic, the podcast all about the Chicago Bears. Like always, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the bell notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. So we have an interesting topic to discuss here on the podcast today, as a report out of Chicago is this. NFL Insider claims there's a real possibility that the Bears move on from Justin Fields. And obviously, in regards to Justin Fields, there's two sides forming, right, amongst Bears fans and the national media after the first, 6 games of the NFL season. Some Bears fans think that it's way too early to pass judgment on Justin Fields due to his supporting cast, poor offensive line, not enough playmakers. But then there's this other half of Bears fans and outside of the national media looking in that feel that Justin Fields is flawed as a passer and holds on to the ball way too long. So there's two sides forming when you are talking about quarterback Justin Fields. But longtime NFL insider Adam Caplan joined this debate while speaking on SportsGrid Radio with Scott Ferrall. And Caplan, by the way he spoke, thinks that there's an indication that the Bears think they have a better passing game personnel than the numbers show. It is just that Fields can't seem to get them the ball consistently enough. Check out what Caplan had to say on this clip.
Justin Fields has had one game over 200 yards. That in today's NFL, I don't care what people say about its low scoring. That cannot happen. They're averaging only 15.5 points per game, bottom 3 of the National Football League in scoring in terms of points per game. I mean, he's averaging for 149 passing yards per game, which is in today's NFL embarrassing. They have better passing personnel, I'm told, on the roster than it's shown. We just mentioned Darnell Mooney, Cole Kmet, their tight end, third-year tight end out of Notre Dame, who they really like. They like to get him the ball more. But here's what happens with Fields. Calls the play, waits, he surveys the field and doesn't throw the football. And then what happens is he gets hit and people blame the offensive line when it's actually on him. He's got he just has to get rid of the football quicker. He's got to process better. And until he does, they're not going to win. I don't care how good their defense is. This is embarrassing. When the opponent can only score 12 points, you got to figure out a way to win the football game. And Chicago's in a division, quite frankly, that they obviously cannot win. If you're a Bears fan, if you could just get the 6 or 7 wins, Field is a success at this point, because they started off well by not scoring, but their defense was basically winning games for them, but not anymore. They've lost 3 in a row. And at some point, I know the fans are going to call for Trevor Siemian, folks. Trevor Siemian is a good backup quarterback. He's not going to solve your issues. They've got to stick with Justin Fields and just live with it. But remember now, the one key thing here, and you and I talked about this with Sam Darnold 2 years ago, this coaching staff, and more particular, the GM, Ryan Poles, inherited this quarterback. This, to me, is a tryout year. The kid's got to play better. If not, I would not guarantee that Justin Fields will be the quarterback next season.
What an interesting assessment of Justin Fields by Adam Caplan. And obviously the gist of that video was this. Caplan thinks that there is a real possibility that GM Ryan Poles and head coach Matt Eberflus will consider alternatives if Fields doesn't improve. And obviously, there's been a lot of NFL insiders that have had opinions on Justin Fields. Obviously, it's back and forth, much like Bears fans, like I mentioned earlier in the podcast. There's half of the Bears fans saying that they think it's way too early on Justin Fields, right, to judge him because of the supporting cast. And another half think that, you know what, Justin Fields may not be the guy because his processing time is too slow. He holds onto the ball too long. But it seems to me that Adam Caplan is on the side of thinking that Justin Fields holds onto the ball too long and thinking that the Bears may be in a position to go get a new quarterback. And obviously, everyone has a right to their opinion, and I totally respect Adam Caplan's opinion. But Adam Caplan, what in the world are you talking about? You brought up a lot of stats, right? Saying, Justin Fields only averages 149 yards per game, right? Or we can't sit here and blame the offensive line for every stat because Justin Fields holds on to the ball too long, right? And that could all very well be true. I'll be the first one to say that Justin Fields isn't perfect. Yes, there is times that Justin Fields holds onto the ball too long. There is times that Justin Fields misses easy throws. And there is so many other things that Justin Fields needs to work on. But I think we have to sit here and kind of sit back and think, saying, do you guys think, and this question is also for Adam Caplan, I know he's not going to see this video, but this question is also for him. Do you guys think that Justin Fields, do you think that Ryan Poles put Justin Fields in the best situation to succeed? So, and this goes out to all the Bears fans that may think that Justin Fields has all these flaws as a passer and thinking that the Bears should maybe move on from Justin Fields at the end of the year if he continues to not improve. But my question to you is that, do you think that Ryan Poles put Justin Fields in the best situation? Do you think that he has enough playmakers? Do you think the offensive line is outstanding? Do you think that offensive line gives Justin Fields enough time to throw? And that's my big thing with this segment, right, from Adam Caplan. And this is why what I've learned to do ever since I started this podcast is not try to take everything what people say with a grain of salt. This was Adam Caplan's opinion. I don't think he heard anything from inside Hallis Hall saying that the Bears think their passing personnel is better than what the numbers indicate, because he didn't mention any sources. So I think this is just Adam Caplan's opinion, right? Just trying to say maybe Justin Fields isn't the answer, right? And that's just his take. That's his assessment on how Justin Fields has been playing. But how I look at it is, okay, yeah, Justin Fields can improve on those things, right? But has the offensive line given him enough time to locate those weapons that he so-called has, right? Does Adam Caplan really think that outside of Darnell Mooney, anyone has really consistently stepped up for Justin Fields to succeed? Does he truly think that Ryan Poles put Justin Fields in the best situation to succeed? And I'll be the first one to say that, like I said, everyone has a right to their opinion. But if we're going to sit here and say that Justin Fields has all these flaws, do you also think that Ryan Poles indeed put Justin Fields in the best situation? And I think that's where you kind of have to go on the other side of things and saying, you know what, even if Justin Fields doesn't improve, right? Let's say he continues to struggle. Can you really blame him? Look at how bad the offensive line has been. Who has he been able to depend on, right? In terms of wide receivers, once again, outside of Darnell Mooney, Emir Smith-Marset has been struggling, right? Cole Kmet has been up and down. Velus Jones is not really being used as an offensive weapon, right? Byron Pringle hurt. We don't know what N'Keal Harry's going to do. So when you put all those things together, it gets you wondering, right? Adam Caplan, what are you thinking here? And yes, he did spit stats. He preached, real stats, and those are true. Like, the struggles of Justin Fields are real. But I just want Adam Caplan to sit back and ask himself, does he think that Ryan Poles put Justin Fields in the best situation? And I think that's why I'm so adamant about Justin Fields being our quarterback for at least another year after this, until Ryan Poles actually puts talent around him. If they put talent around Justin Fields and then he still continues to struggle, then yes, then maybe we should consider maybe moving on from Justin Fields. Consider the alternatives. I think why some Bears fans and why some people from the outside looking in are kind of sitting here saying, trying to make up rumors or stir the pot in terms of the Chicago Bears of maybe they should get rid of Justin Fields at the end of the year, is because when you look at the NFL draft and when you look at how bad the Chicago Bears have been, they're going to probably definitely be a top 10 pick. You look at, okay, there's CJ Stroud, right? Oh, Bryce Young. This draft in terms of quarterbacks is going to be really nice, right? And I think everyone can agree with that. But another thing, do you really want to start over as a Bears fan? And I know we're rebuilding, but do you think that CJ Stroud or Bryce Young's going to come in here and do any better if Ryan Poles doesn't build around them? And I guess that's just my thing. I personally don't want to start over. I personally think that Justin Fields is the guy. But I will also come on here if Ryan Poles does in fact build around him. Like, if Ryan Poles does in fact build him a good offensive line, if Ryan Poles does in fact get him a big number one wide receiver, a big time playmaker for Justin Fields, and he still struggles, I'll come back on here and say, you know what, I was wrong. But I think it's just not fair for a guy like Adam Caplan to come on here, right, and say, you know what, Justin Fields only has thrown 149 yards passing a game. That's embarrassing. Okay, Caplan, that's great that you know Justin Fields' stats per game, but who is he throwing to? How much time does Justin Fields actually have in the pocket? Why do you think he's running all the time? And yes, once again, it's true. Justin Fields has some problems holding on to the ball. Maybe processing time is still slow. But it doesn't help when your offensive line doesn't give you enough time. And eventually Justin Fields will hopefully get better. Hopefully the play calling gets better to where he gets rid of the ball faster. But he needs more help. I would love to see some Bears fans, and I would love to see guys like Adam Caplan go behind the offensive line and see how long they last. Because if anyone watched the Washington Commanders game, we all learned that the offensive line is putrid. That Justin Fields took a huge beating in that game. So before we judge, look at the situation that Justin Fields is in. And I've said this before in the podcast, and I'll say it again here. Ryan Poles has to build around Justin Fields. And if Adam Caplan has a source, and maybe it is true, we don't know. I'm going to take this with a grain of salt. Maybe the Bears will possibly move on if he doesn't improve, but that would be a hard pill for me to swallow as a Bears fan due to the fact that Ryan Poles has done nothing to help out Justin Fields. I was optimistic going into the season. Maybe the offensive line will be better. Maybe the receivers that he added to the roster will help out Justin Fields. We don't know. Maybe the new offensive coordinator and Luke Getsy will help him out. And that's still a work in progress. We knew that the offense was going to have growing pains. But I think we also have to realize that this is a lot of the players on this team, especially offensively, are not going to be on the roster next year. My hope is that Ryan Poles adds a couple of big-time offensive linemen, adds some receivers maybe via trade or NFL draft to help out Justin Fields. Because I'm still under the impression that if he does that for Justin Fields has the capability to be special. But we won't know that until he gets more help. And that is just my stance on that. And that's why I'm very adamant about keeping Justin Fields past this year until Ryan Poles can build around the young man and get him the help that he needs. So Adam Caplan, I appreciate your assessment on Justin Fields. I appreciate you throwing out stats that us Bears fans already knew. But you also have to understand the situation that Justin Fields is in right now before you sit there and judge. Before I let you guys go, Bears fans, let me ask you guys this. Do you guys think that Justin Fields is still the guy? Or do you believe this rumor from Adam Caplan that maybe the Bears will move on after this season? Let me know down below in the comment section. Before I let you guys go, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the bell notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Make sure you follow me on all my social media platforms. And make sure you share this episode of Geek on the Mic with every single Bears fan that you know. But other than that, be back for an all-new Bears podcast right here on Geek on the Mic. Thanks, guys, and bear down.
You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't kick on the mic. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't kick on the mic. You can go and subscribe cause I be on it right. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't kick on the mic.